Hello everyone, welcome back to SteamCode. In this video, I'll be showing you how to select data from your data frames in a more detailed way. So in many cases, when you're working with Pandas data frames, you're going to want to select data and not just select it in a crude way in which you're getting half of the swath of data. You might want to select more specific columns, more specific rows, and select data that meet specific pieces of criteria. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to do that. So first, let's talk about how to select specific columns. So I'm using the same data as in the previous tutorial, data.csv. And if you don't have access to this data, the link to it in GitHub is in the description down below. But back to main.py, if we want to just select the subscribers and views columns from this data, we can say create a new variable. I'll call this subs_views. Set that equal to data. Now we're going to need double brackets because in the first set of brackets we're defining the columns or the series that we want, and then the second set of brackets defines what data frame we're pulling that from. So subscribers, comma, views. So we're going to pull the subscribers and views columns from the data frame. Let's save and let's run, see how this looks. We need to print it. Print subs_views, save and run. And as you can see here, it's showing all 18 columns or all 18 rows just from these two subscriber and views columns. Now, another important feature that we'd want to look at is the shape of the data frames that we're pulling. So what if this data was too big to just visually see that it's 17 rows and 2 columns? Well, we can say something like shape is equal to subs_views.shape. It's as simple as that. Shape is an attribute of every series and every data frame within Pandas. So let's print this out, see how the shape looks. And as expected, 18 rows and 2 columns. Now, what if we want to pull data from different columns, or what if we want to pull the entire data frame, but only when certain columns equal certain values? Well, we can do that as so. So let's pull the columns in which the channels are monetized. So let's say monetized is equal to data monetized. So we're saying let's pull from the data frame data where the monetized column of that same data frame is greater than 0 or is equal to 1. You can say either. And let's print it. So here we can see all the different rows within our data frame where monetize is equal to 1. So if we look back at data.csv, we have multiple rows here in which the channels are not monetized, but we don't care about those. We only want to look at these monetized channels. Now let's say we want to look at the monetized channels where the subscriber count is greater than 5,000. Well, we can get a little more specific and say, and data subscribers is greater than 5,000. Now, something you need to notice is, as a beginner, you may not remember to do this, but in Pandas, whenever you have multiple conditional statements, you need to surround each conditional statement with a pair of parentheses. So let's do that right now. Let's save this file. Let's see what it prints. So you can see here, this prints only 6 rows, whereas this one printed many more, because this is only selecting those rows in which the subscriber column is greater than 5,000. Now, what if we don't care about the subscribers, views, videos, comments, weekly views, or the monetized column per se, but we just want to see the channel names in which these values are true? Well, if we want to do that, we're going to need to use another method called the lock method. Now, the lock method allows for label-based indexing. So all you need to change here is, instead of data bracket, say data.lock, and then the bracket, and then we want just the channel name. So after this last parenthesis, put a comma, and then channel underscore name. So now we're pulling the channel name from this data frame, and only the channel names in which the subscriber count is greater than 5,000 and the monetized value is 1 or is greater than 0. So let's save this. Well, let me change this to monetized channel names, and let's print monetized channel names. So now that it's saved, let's run it again. And here you can see it's only printing the channel names. Now, in addition to the lock method, which is label-based indexing, we've got the iloc method, which allows for index-based indexing. So, or integer-based indexing. So let's gather a subset of this data. So I'll create a variable called subset, and I'll use the iloc method. So I only want to gather the 10th through the 15th rows. So let's say 10:15. So we're only gathering these rows. And let's get the 1st through the 4th column. So 1 through 4. And let's print subset. And as you can see here, it only prints 5 rows and 3 columns. 10 through 15, not including 15, and 1 through 4, not including 4. Now, the difference between the lock method and the iloc method, as I mentioned before, is the lock method allows for label-based indexing. So you see here how I was able to provide this method with a label, channel name, the string that corresponds to that channel, to that column header. With the iloc method, you're not able to do that. With the iloc method, you're only able to pass it integers. So depending on the use case, depending on what you want to gather from your data, will determine whether you want to use the lock method or the iloc method. But this has been an overview how you can gather subsets of your data with a little more detail. If you have any questions or any confusion about what I just went over, feel free to leave them in the comment section down below. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.